Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Adi, and today we have another Scarlet and Violet Series 1 team report with another top player. I'm joined by Alberto Renero. How are you doing?
Hey Adi, how are you? I'm fine.
I'm I'm doing well. I just got back from San Diego, where we both top cut what is for now the biggest regional since I think 2013 in VGC. It was a really fun event, and yeah, and you came all the way in top 32, which is a really impressive performance. But first, I guess, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure, and congratulations to you too, my brother. My name is Alberto, also known as GoldenEmpoleon online, for so many years now. And I'm a four times. I'll try to keep this short. I've been playing BGC since 2009, and Mexico got official events until 2014. So, I've been playing officially since 2014, let's say. And I've made worlds in 2016, 17, 18, and 19, but I did so terribly at those. And then if the pandemic hadn't struck, I might have traveled a lot for London, but given I didn't like Series 12 that much, or like Gen 8 in general. I didn't see the need to do that, but I'm happy to be back in the grind, and I definitely want to do really good this year.
Yeah, and I mean, last year must have been really awkward for you guys because Latam, I don't think had like any regionals at all. Maybe like one in Brazil or
No,
something. Um,
there was a regional in Chile,
right? Yeah.
but it was more expensive for me to go to Chile than to go to London, so I just skipped it altogether.
Yeah, but this year, I mean, you're back and you started off with a bang, getting a top 32 at San Diego Regionals, went 8-2 in Swiss, got into top cut, and you used this team. So yeah, so tell me about the how the early format went for you, and
Yeah.
how you ended up using these six Pokemon.
So like again for Gen 8, actually I'm thankful that the pandemic struck because I just hated Dynamax as a whole. I think it's like the worst mechanic they could have come up with. Like if you're a good player, you're gonna do good anyways. But I was not having fun at all with Dynamax, so I didn't put too much effort into like any of the series. I played like two players cup, but didn't go too seriously into those. And then in Series 12, like just right after Worlds, I got like a new spark for competing. I played a little of Series 12, won a local Series 12 tournament in Mexico City, and was like super hardcore playing some Spikewood Cup, and I made it into like the top 100 with several teams. So that gets us to the first team, like Series 1 Test 1 all the way down there, with Garchomp, that was a support Gyarados, that was doing really good for me in Spike Mood, with like Super Berry, Icy Wind, Taunt, and Support Ball Corona as well, which was real clutch at the moment. And I was doing really okay with the team. I was having fun. And then, um, okay, before I continue, I just want to say that this is like a story of how to not prepare for a regional.
Okay.
Okay, so then a second team, like the one with the Gholdengo and Ihilape, I got together with my friends um, to like talk a little bit about the metagame, and yeah, we're gonna be all serious for San Diego, and we're gonna train a lot, and this is what we built in just like 30 minutes, and it's got like the Garchomp Murkrow Gholdengo core, which I really liked, and then Armor Didi, which seemed to be very strong in the early meta, like December 2nd. And then like Annihilate, which one of my friends was really excited about. But after this team, I was just like it was like the standard bulk up set, and we changed the Terra type several times, like dark and water, and just settled into fire because of Will-O-Wisp, and just like that ended up being like the standard Annihilate set. So but then we did like okay with the team, and then I was like, okay, I want to try a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff. And then I built the third team, which is like Discharge Spam with Kilowatt Drill, and like Scarf Gardevoir, Amoonguss, and Hariyama for Trick Room, and like the how's it called? The Mousehold for some reason. And it was a really shitty team, but I was having a little bit of fun. But just right again, I went back to like Murkrow, Garchomp, Gholdengo, and DDR Marouche, and switched the Annihilate for Hydreigon because it was getting really popular in the ladder, and it was doing really good. And I was like, okay, let's gonna try it. And a friend of mine came up with like a Snarl Tailwind Sash set, and it was also really fun. But then, like I was not doing really hot with this team. A couple of days later, I said I want to try the Dondoso out, and I built the Test 5 team, but it sucked. It was absolutely awful, and I couldn't see myself playing Dondoso at the tournament. I don't like the play style. To be honest, I'm definitely not the best player around, but I'm one of the most veterans out there, and I could tell you Dondoso is not gonna do good this year. More on that later.
Okay, I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, and then we got to the Gothitella Sumeral team because I wanted to try Peristrap, and it was like a Peristrap Sumeral. I actually talked to you on Twitter about it for a bit, but it was not that good because like the Sumeral was a mixed set. Like I chose to use a Sumeral because it looked to be like very solid into the metagame. Like its typing is really good, both offensively and defensively. It's got huge power, so that means you can invest into bulk, and it has like a wide array of moves that let you do a lot of different stuff. But right then, I was using Aqua Jet, Play Rough, and Parry Song and Protect, and it wasn't doing very good. So for the next two versions of that team, I just scrapped off the Parry Song on a Sumeril because it was not pulling its weight, and it was very hard to like put a Parry Song together. And I started feeling like I was running short on time, so I just wanted to go to more consistent stuff. So I went to an Assault Vest Sumeril set that actually you recommended. So it started coming in really clutch, and then I just like switched Talonflame for a Kilowatt Drill just to give it a one less chance to see if it was going to be viable, and then I just scrapped it all together, and I was really bad about my prep. I was starting to get really anxious, and then right now I'm working an office job from 9 to 6 every day, sometimes way more than that. So my training time was not being uh, used up to its full potential, let's say. And then there was this like invitational tournament in Europe with some of the top players over there, and that's when I came up with the last team that I ended up using. And we can go to my base right now if you want.
Mm-hmm.
So um, I took a little inspiration from Edu, to be honest, like for the Rotom Heat. But I think he was running Hydreigon and another thing instead of Amoonguss and a Sumeril. And through my testing, I didn't find Hydreigon to be a very impactful mon, so I didn't want to be running that. And then, like Assault Vest Sumeril, I was so in love with that Pokemon after testing it that it just had to be in the team, right? And then just Murkrow, Garchomp, Gholdengo, which I had been using for like the whole month up to that point, and I was getting really comfortable with it. And the Rotom Heat is like a super, let's say, comfortable pick, experience pick, because I've been using it for quite a while. I used it in 2012, in 2015, in 2018, 2019 even, and during several of the series in Gen 8. So it's like a comfort pick. And the Mungus, again, it's a comfort pick, and it's just like super good in this metagame. I think it's one of the best Pokemon right now, support-wise. because it can go into a lot of array of like different matchups. And and then time was running short on preparation, so I just I just kept this six Pokemon and kept testing with them. And again, I didn't have as much time as I wanted to test for the tournament. If I had, I'm 100% sure I would have used a completely different thing. But like this was my comfort pick. This was what I had already know that I already know how to use it. So I just stick with it and try to learn the matchups as just as things came by, you know. So well, I felt like Gholdengo was really good. Like its ability is amazing. Its offensive stats and make it rain. I feel like it's like the best Pokemon in the format. So I can tell you that most of them are just like general EV spreads.
Hmm.
Not they're not really well thought out. Like for example, for Murkrow, I was running no defense and no special attack. Just like I made it fast to be able to outspeed like things like Dreadnought in the rain, and
Hmm.
just like the leftovers went into special defense. And last minute I added a little bit of defense bulk. Um, I think if I just go like this, we're gonna take quite a while. But let me just go into like the things that I think make this team like special,
Yeah, go
even
for it.
if it's like super standard, right? So Snarl on Murkrow, I found myself like never, never, ever, ever, ever using Taunt.
Hmm.
Uh, when before changing it to Snarl, uh, I think I played like I don't know between 50 and 100 games where I didn't have to pick Taunt, and I was never in a position where Taunt was useful. And like in DD Armorish was really common during testing that Psychic Terrain was just gonna block it. So I was like, okay, Prankster is good for Tailwind and for Haze, but for my last move, I want something that can help a little bit with like general stuff. So Snarl is really good like against Throat Spray mons, like Furry Giraffe, Sylveon, and lets you take a hit at -1 and then next turn get them back to -1 after the Throat Spray. Um, and it was just like a like a filler move, and it was also really useful when taking out like Focus Sash mons, but I also wanted some cheap damage on the mon next to it. So it was really clutch in practice. I also considered like Feather Dance and Screech, but I think Snarl was like the correct choice, and I didn't use it that much in the tournament, but the times that I did, it was like the move that I was so glad to have at that moment,
Hmm.
And then for Garchomp, the first Garchomp set I tested was Clear Amulet, and I was just like really comfortable with it. Intimidate was not that popular, but it was useful against like random Icy Wind stuff. And then in the end, like Tauros just started being super common. So Clear Amulet was really clutch in some cases. Then for Gholdengo, it's just a standard Life Orb Nasty Plot set. But I just went with modest max speed um, because I didn't find Timid Gholdengo to be a thing, you know?
Oh.
So it was either like, well, we can talk about that like later if you allow me to.
Yeah, of course.
But during testing, like I was just speed tying or always outspeeding every single Gholdengo. And I felt like modest damage was like super, super, super important just to pick random one-hit KOs. Like there was a match where I make it rain and a King Gambit, and after a nasty plot, an assault with King Gambit, and it did more than half. So and then I KO'd again with the second make it rain. So like I felt like almost max special attack was super useful, and like the bulk was just awkward. I mean, like the final special attack EV was decided because that's the minimum to always one hit KO kilowatt-drill, like 4 HP kilowatt-drill
Mhm.
or 4 kilowatt-drill, because I was listening to it a lot during testing, but it never had a focus sash for some reason. So I say, okay, if I see a kilowatt-drill, it's not gonna have a sash. So I'm just gonna knock it out by tailwinding myself first and denying their tailwind. And the bulk was important in the end because it was random, but um, like it's got like a super good chance to leave an earthquake from like a Garchomp like mine, let's say, and then leave a life of recoil. So it was just good. And then for Rotom, I chose Protect over Nasty Plot. I had Nasty Plot before Protect, um, and I was never clicking Nasty Plot, to be honest. And Will-O-Wisp was super, super clutch in testing, and I definitely wanted to keep that, so Nasty Plot gone. I don't really remember what the bulk did, but the speed came in super clutch, like being timid max speed. Uh, it outsped several Boiled Coronas in testing, almost all of them, to be honest. And during the tournament, it just was faster than everything else. Like, also outspeeding timid Gholdengo, now that I look back into it, is super important. And just killing it with overheat right away. Um, the bulk is, again, random. Um, but I finally decided on this. Um, I think it leaves, like, Life Orb Garchomp, Rock Slide, I think it's a 3-hit KO or something like that, and just went with like generalized bulk and a little bit of special attack that I'm not sure at all if it did made a difference or not. As Sumeril, I don't think there's a lot to talk about this Pokemon. I just think it's a really good matchup, like a really good pick for this metagame, again, because of typing, of bulk, of moves, of ability, and everything. I chose Terra Grass just to ignore Amoonguss. Um, and like Meowscarada was also being a severe problem for the team. So, like Terra Grass, I had Terra Fairy, I think, before to hit harder with Play Rough, but I think Grass was okay.
Mhm.
And finally, Amoonguss. I wanted like a more especially bulky Amoonguss than the standard one, which is like I think bold 156 defense or something like that. I just
Yep.
went with like a super random EV spread. Um, Rocky Helmet was super super good. I think it's the best item on Amoonguss, more than like Citrus Berry or Resist Berries, because combined with the Terra Dark, um, I don't think like you need a resist berry because you can just play the mind game with the open team shit. And oh, and sorry, it's not effect spore. It's actually regenerator.
Okay. I'll
Just
change that
like the
for the
standard
video.
Amoonguss, and like the HP is divisible by 3, so you get the like the optimal regenerator and stuff. And for the moves, I never saw myself wanting to have Protect. I had Giga Drain before, like to be able to help a little bit better, like to be able to hit something, like to have no lost turns. And a friend of mine just recommended Pollen Pop because it was better, and it really came in clutch. Like there were games where I just spored both opponents, set up with them on next to me, and just Pollen Pop it to full health and just like sweep after that. And even though it's a really standard team, and it might look like an early metagame team, uh, the important thing with the team is like I was feeling super, super, super comfortable with it, and that I think that's a lesson that I'm very happy about. Like just to like going forward, uh, I think the most important preparation you can do is not like having the best metagame call or like the most niche, obscure pick that you can make. I think the most important going into a tournament is feeling comfortable with your team. And I think that came in very helpful during the whole tournament. you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
um, the week before the regional, I was doing super good on Showdown. I actually didn't play a single open team sheet best of three before the tournament. Like round one was my first one, but I just went in with a team that I knew how to play matchups against. Um, Again, I was doing super good on Showdown the week before the regional. I generally hate laddering. I think it's a waste of time. I think it's just like a useful um, tool to like learn your matchups,
Mm-hmm.
and to see what so people are playing, you know. So, but like getting high on ladder by not trying was like, okay, I'm doing something good, or the team is doing something good. But then the week during the regional, the few games that I had time to play just went awful. I just like dropped to the 1400s on Showdown like right away. Uh, like all of the Pokemon were underperforming. Like Garchomp was doing nothing. Rotom, which I thought was super good, was doing nothing. Azumarill, which was my like MVP during the rest of the testing, was doing nothing. So my confidence levels were below the ground before the tournament. So I just came into the tournament. Okay, first I needed vacation so hard because my job is awful, and I just wanted to get away, uh, see my friends, and meet people from other countries that I don't generally get to see. And it had been a while since I saw a lot of them.
Yeah.
Um, so I just was like, okay, I'm going to enjoy myself. This is very important. I am going to enjoy myself. I am going into every game, just like if it was a new game. My record doesn't matter. My future matches doesn't matter. The stakes don't matter at all, and I'm just gonna enjoy every single best of three, one game at a time. That was my mentality going into the tournament. And then, like, if you want to go, we can go with my run, let's
Sure. Yeah.
say, and then let me check the pastes to see which ones are impactful. Like the first one, I think is important
Right.
because that was the only Dondoso I played all day. And it was actually a flying Dondoso, which was the one that gave me most troubles during testing because it just one shot the Amoonguss.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, but with open team sheets, it becomes a mind game. Uh, like against the regular Terra Flying Dondoso, right? Because they usually run Wave Crash and Terra Blast, right? And it's a mind game. If I Terra Dark and you Terra Blast, I leave and I get the Spore off. If I don't Terra and you Wave Crash, I leave and I get the Spore off. So I think the matchup it's more easy in open team shit. So I played against just like Dondoso Sand with a Trick Mode. Um, and because my opponent didn't even have Wave Crash, uh, I could just Terra the Amoonguss every game and just absolutely win. I thought that I had a really good matchup coming into this match, and I felt really prepared against Dondoso. And I think, just like retaking my argument from a while ago, I don't think Dondoso is gonna be good. Uh, First, because it's not a fun one to play, for me at least, and second, because of open team sheet. Like there are 6 or 7 viable Dondoso sets so far,
Mm-hmm.
but knowing what the Dondoso set is beforehand, I think gives you an enormous edge. Even if your opponent can see your team, like you know how to play perfectly against the opposing Dondoso, right? You don't have to to cover options. You just need to do what you need to do against that specific Dondoso set, and that's why I think it's not going to be that good, even if it can get overwhelming. And again, I was running both Murkrow and Among Us. Like the whole regional, I just played with my gut and like a little bit of matchup knowledge, and I knew I could go into every Dondoso game, bringing both Among Us and Murkrow with any combination of the other 4 months, and I could beat any Dondozo I faced. So this was a little bit tricky, uh, because they had both a fast mode with the Centim and the slow mode with the Trick Room. But I think like game one, they led Tyranitar Dondozo, which is a super awkward lead, and I led with Rotom and Amoonguss. I just Terra Dark, Rage Powder, Will-O-Wisp the Dondozo, and like or the Tyranitar. I Will-O-Wisp the Tyranitar and Sport the Dondozo, something like that, because they could not KO the Rotom. And I just had to not activate the weakness policy on Tyranitar, and my Murkrow came in next turn. I just hazed, and they switched Tyranitar to Tatsuri, and I hazed, and it was fine. And then the next game they didn't brought Dondozo. They went for like Sand with Hariyama and Tatsugiri, I think. No Furry Giraffe. And it was just like an easy game. And having a game first round where I knew what to do and how to play the matchup, and feeling confident with my play and seeing the results of like staying calm and collected and just going in for the fun was super important for the rest of the tournament, right? Next match I want to talk about is my round 3 against Scotty Wafuchi. He also made top 32.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really awkward matchup for me, right? Because their Gholdengo is a Scarf, so they cannot speed mine. I need to have the speed control, but like I can't seem to like cover for everything in this matchup. Like Meowscarada is 2-hit KO in Garchomp, and I'm forced to Terra Grass Sumeral, which is not that good because they have Fire Taros, and I lose like I don't know. It was a tricky matchup. I didn't know who to Terra correctly, and like their Baxcalibur was Terra Water with Substitute, so it was and leftovers. So like I just lost 2-0. I got absolutely destroyed by Scott. He made always a correct place. He knew how to option cover for my leads in both games, and like his team was just way better than mine. And then in the end of both games, he just had Scarf Gholdengo in the back after he had taken care of Murkrow. So there was nothing I could do in this match. Like I felt so helpless in this game, and it had been a while. And after this game, I was 2-1, and I remembered a story from long ago in 2017 Worlds. I saw Choppa, and he was playing day 2, and he was doing terrible. And I was like, dude, but why don't you drop if you already don't have a chance? Like I don't care. I'm playing such good Pokemon. I'm having so much fun. And I remember that mentality, and combine that with my zero expectations of myself going to this tournament. And I was like, dude, I want to behave like that. I want to have that mentality the rest of the tournament. I don't care how any of my other games go. I'm just gonna go and have fun, and that's what I did, and it was really amazing. And then a little bit on round 4 against Jack, their Azumarill was belly drum, and I was like, dude, Azumarill bros, and he was like, yeah, and it was a very fun match. Jack was really nice, and but like Rotom hit was just the MVP. He couldn't do anything against Rotom. Like, game 1, he opened I think it was Grimmsnarl Dragapult, and I burned the Dragapult, and then I burned the Grimmsnarl, and then he switched the Dragapult for Palmot, and I burned the Palmot, and I was like, if he's got Meowscarada in the back row Sumeral, I'm just gonna spam Will-O-Wisp, and I just spammed Will-O-Wisp like 6 or 7 turns. I didn't click any other move. And in the other slot, I was like switching a Sumeral and a Amoonguss in and out, and just spamming Will-O-Wisp. And then I took care of Grimmsnarl, and because if it was not light clay, the screens were just gone, and everything was burnt, and it was like so so easy. Like Rotom really pulled its weight here in this match, and the second match was similar, and I just burnt everything, and then Dragapult went Terrafire, but he locked himself into Phantom Force against my Amoonguss and Rotom both at full health, and I think he had Sylveon next to it. So he just locked himself into Phantom Force, and when he came back, I just liquidation and I took it out, and like this game just told me like this game alone, I think, made Rotom the MVP of the whole weekend. Like it was super fun to play Rotom this weekend. And then round 5, I played Dr. Fidget, which is actually a player I've looked up to for a lot of years because he's like super original when building his teams, and he had Terra Fairy, Terra Blast, Zoroark. So game 1, I opened, I think it was Murkrow Gholdengo, and he opened Volcarona's Breloom, let's say. Breloom. So turn 1, he protects Breloom and goes for the Tailwind with Volcarona and Nasty Plot, and I think Snarl. And I broke the I know I can take a Heat Wave with at -1. So I was just like, dude, I just Tailwind and make it drain, and I win this game easy. And then he went for the Terra Blast, for Terra Fairy on the Breloom, and I was like, I was holding the team shit like this, like, bro, you fucked up, right? And then I went all the way down the team list, and it said Zoroark, Terra Fairy, and I was like, oh. And then it KO'd the Murkrow. The Volcarona, like single target, took care of my Gholdengo. But then I had in the back, I think, Amoonguss, Garchomp, and I don't know. I managed to bring it back in the end. Like in the end, it was Garchomp alone against Breloom with a Broken Sash and Broxish, and Terra Ground +2 Earthquake was like really clutch, and I just KO'd both with +2 Earthquake. Okay, so game 2, he opens again Volcarona Garchomp. He protects, he Tailwinds, but this time it was just regular Garchomp, and without a Dragon move, I opened my own with my own Garchomp. And without a Dragon move, and also being Terra Steel, like just my Garchomp wins that matchup. So I just Tailwind, Swords Dance, and proceed to Earthquake everything. And this was also a really fun match because there were a lot of mind games, especially in game 2. Is he bringing the Zoroark? Is he not? So yeah. Another interesting one. Well, round 6, I played Yonsu, Jonathan Zuniga, who also made top 32. And it was the second Summerall I played against, and it was the same as Summerall as mine, so we were again like, yeah, Summerall brothers. I just focused on, like, the Skeletor was not Terra Grass, so I could win the game with Garchomp, like spam Earthquake with Garchomp after I took care of, like, Meowscarada, you know? And then, but the Dragonite was like, Tailwind Dragon Dance with a weakness policy and the multi-scale, so it was going to be a little tricky to put like Garchomp in the place to win this matchup. But again, Rotom came in clutch. Again, I won 2-0. Like Willow Wisping everything and Garchomp just cleaning everything. It was also a good match to play. And yeah. I'm not talking about round 7 because my opponent was a little bit mean, but it's fine because I just 2-0 them. They couldn't do anything. Round 8, I played you.
I heard your round 8 opponent was a little bit mean too.
No, actually they were pretty chill. They were a really nice guy, to be honest. So are you okay if I talk about this matchup?
Yeah. I got a team report coming out sometime next week too, so you should be good.
So I'm okay to talk about like your EB spread.
Yeah, of course.
Especially that one. Okay, so I think I won game 1. To be honest, I don't remember anything about your match.
Yep. I don't remember much about game 1 either.
I was just like, I think I made some safe switches and broke the Mimikyu disguise right away, and To be honest, I'm not really sure. I remembered you not bringing Tauros game one.
Yes.
Um,
My reasoning there was if you bring Murkrow, then it's really spooky because you set up Tailwind, and then my Choice Scarf Tauros just gets outsped by everything. So I figured,
yeah.
better to go Mimikyu. It's a little safer, can threaten Trick Room, and then game two, of course, I did bring Tauros.
Yeah, and the game two, I think I opened Rotom Gholdengo,
Yep.
and you went for Pelipper Tauros. And I was like, dude, Avi is a very good player. He's not gonna fall for the Protect. I'm just gonna attack the Pelipper. And you went for the Wave Crash, and Rotom was gone turn one. And then I nasty plotted with Gholdengo. I'm okay. I can lose. I can lose my Rotom. It's not a big deal. Gholdengo will just win. I nasty plot because I had a Mungus in the back and I could just Rage Powder and next just like Shadow Ball the Pelipper or something. But Hydro Pump just took me out. So turn one I had already lost.
Yep.
And I was like super amazed by how strong the Life for Pelipper could be because like Gholdengo it's got decent bulk, but I never thought that you could take it out actually. Again, lack of preparation. I didn't even know how much
Yeah,
you would
literally,
be able to do. You know,
literally every single person at the tournament, when I clicked an attack with the Pelipper, was like, "Wow, I did not realize that it did that much damage." Literally, the next round, I played Angel Miranda, who's on the exact same team as me. We built the team together, and
Okay.
I clicked Hurricane into his Pelipper, and he was like, "Wow, I did not think it was going to do that much damage. Like, no one knows how much damage it's going to do."
It was a really good tech, so props on that. Huge props on that. And then game three, I remember it being a little bit closer, but then again I was really like confident that my Gholdengo was just faster than every other non-Scarf Gholdengo. So I was just in the position. I think I could have protected and done something with my other slot, which I don't even remember who it was. But just being outsped by opposing Gholdengo was just rough, and well, I lost. And also like I think you made the Terra Grass Tauros on game three, right?
Yeah. Okay. So my favorite moment of the entire tournament, I talked about this on stream a couple days ago, was I had my Tauros in front of a Mungus and Rotom Heat, and you went for Terra Electric with Rotom, and you went click Rage Powder, and I went for my Terra on Tauros, and I saw you. Literally, I saw you where you were shocked. You're like, "What's going on?" You look down at the team sheet and you realize what was happening because you clicked Rage Powder and Thunderbolt, and you did no damage that turn.
No damage. I wrote him to quite a hit, and I was like, "Oh shit! How did I forget this?" You know.
Yeah.
It was overall. I think it was a really fun match. I had a lot of fun a lot of fun playing that set, and then being X2, I was super happy for you because you just needed one more win. Thank you for
It turns
not
out I
winning
did not
again,
need one
buddy.
more win, but yeah.
I felt it personally. Nah, but no problem, dude. It was an amazing set.
It was a really fun set. I think it did come down to. I think we both played to the end game where we thought our Goldengos were faster, but the difference is I was max speed timid, and so I knew I was faster.
Yeah.
And I think you asked me, like, "Hey, was that a speed tie?" Or are you timid? And I was like, "I'll tell you later," because it turns out that my round 10 opponent was actually sitting next to me that round, so I really didn't want to like spill the beats there. But yeah,
there were a lot of good players like next to us, like not only good players but like high level matches around us, and I think that was a really clutch piece of information, like for the tournament. And like I'm gonna take a little detour, like for open team sheets. I'm gonna keep the rant as short as possible. Like I do not like open team sheets, because I've always thought that it can affect your creativity, let's say, because you have little to no chance to put in like surprising text, or sometimes you need to surprise your opponent to win a certain matchup or something. And like figuring out what your opponent has and like withholding information from your opponent, those two things are like just basic skills in BGC. like forever. Those have been like crucial skills and fun skills, and something that I've had to develop over the years. And knowing when to play safe, knowing when to like expect some move, etc. Uh, like all of that is gone with open team sheets, and um, I
Yeah,
think
I agree.
it's not as fun as playing close team sheets. And a lot of people are saying, no, but the third types are so awful, and I've got to know them beforehand because if not, I'll die. And bro, that's why we play best of three, you
Exactly.
know.
And
So
I want to add to that. Like I don't know if you played any tournaments that were before it was announced that we were going to be open team sheet. But I played in one. I played in the Connecticut Grassroots tournament, and I got top eight.
mhm,
The top cut was open team sheet. Swiss was closed, and it just felt like night and day. But I felt so much better actually playing closed team sheet because even if you look at this tournament, a lot of the top teams did not have offensive terra types. They had defensive terra types, and if your
yeah,
opponent, if the best thing you can do with terrestrialization is using it to like survive one hit against an offensive Pokemon, that's fine. That's like fair and balanced in my opinion, right? And both players get to do it once per game.
mhm,
I think that's good for the game. I think it means that you have to play a little more conservatively with your hyper offensive Pokemon. I'm glad that that we ended up in a metagame where defensive terrestrialization is more important right now. But I really don't like the idea of getting into a metagame where people lead like Chi-Yu, Dragonite, go Terra Normal, and say, okay, I know you don't have Protect in this slot. I'm just going to double into this slot every single turn because I know I can. That to me is the
yeah.
worst case
Dream
scenario.
Pokemon are gonna be awful.
Exactly, yeah, and especially since if you know, okay, if they knew that your Murkrow is Terra Ghost, and then they can click a Dark move plus the normal move into it and always KO it, and that sort of thing just isn't fun to
Yeah,
me.
like it helps you better with option covering. And okay, so like the way to get creative with open team sheets is having solid EV spreads, and going for the fast Gholdengo, I think it was like the correct call for you for open team sheets.
and
Um,
and just in general, like having like for I mean even you like he had Sassy Amoonguss, and I think I think actually that was what happened game one is I thought my Hurricane from Pelipper would KO your Amoonguss, and I realized you were Sassy because it didn't KO and it normally does for Bolt.
oh,
Uh,
okay.
and like stuff like that gives you an advantage by playing with your EV sprites, making different sets, original sets. There is still creativity, but it has to be a little more nuanced than just teching on a move that people haven't seen before. You have to figure out how to disrupt your opponent's game plans in a way where maybe they don't have a way to deal with it, or maybe they don't notice it in the open team sheet.
Exactly. And that's actually one thing I felt was like a positive thing about my team, that all my sets were like super standard. I was not doing anything crazy. So, uh, okay, you know that I have the standard stuff, but are you gonna be able to deal with it? You know, that's I think that was like a positive thing from my team. Um, and just like I outplayed a lot during the tournament. But yeah, to sum up my my rounds, my round 9 opponent was running a Sand team with Talonflame. I think it was a choice specs Gholdengo, which turned out to be slower than mine. But their Garchomp was Sand Bale Bright Powder, so that was super scary. I actually and with substitute, so I actually lost game one to that. I had already KO'd every other Pokemon. I was up like 3-1 just against the Garchomp. I had already taken the substitute out, and then I missed all my moves. I couldn't hit it, and then he made the comeback. And then for game two, he led Talonflame Garchomp, and then I led Rotom Amoonguss, I think, or Azumarill or Gholdengo. I think I led Gholdengo. So games 2 and 3, he led both times that way with Talonflame Garchomp, and I led Rotom something else. So just turn one, they set up the Tailwind, and I Thunderbolted the Talonflame, and just took it out in both games. And I had Murkrow in the back both games as well with Garchomp. So and in the end game, in game 3, I still had a chance to like miss the Garchomp. I was only like up 2-1, and I just hit it to win, one move to win, and um no, actually I needed to hit both of my moves. He was in a position where he couldn't KO. I think I had Garchomp, both Garchomp and Azumarill at full HP or almost full HP, and he couldn't KO with either Rock Slide or Earthquake, neither of them. So I just had to hit like the Dragon Claw plus the Ice Spinner to win, and I did. And then for round 10, um, it was like a solid team. I was a little bit scared of the Meowscarada plus the Palmont because it had Revival Blessing. So I just like focused on nerfing their stuff before I could take out the Palmont so he couldn't Revival Blessing. And it really paid off. Like game 1 I won really easily. Then game 2 he had like both of their Pokemon were burnt. Or what was it? Yeah, both of their Pokemon were burnt. And I just Tailwind and Swords Dance with Garchomp for the win. I had already taken care of the Palmot. I just needed to like click Earthquake once or twice. Also, the Meowscarada didn't have Sucker Punch, so I knew I could just like have the Tailwind advantage, take care of their Murkrow, their Palmots, and just have a better Tailwind in the end. And then he crit my Garchomp, like double crit into it, and then we went to game 3, and I just won, and I was like, okay, like GG. And then we're signing the match sleep. The judges came over to do a hack check, and I just turned around, and my friends were there, and they were like, dude, did you make it? Did you make it? And I was like, did I do what? Did you win? Yeah. And they were like, yeah. Okay, I won. And then I was like, because it was already so late, like my stamina did hold up during the tournament. I think because of also the good mentality. And but I had a good stamina going into the event. But then I looked at my watch, and it was almost already like 10 p.m. You know. So I just looked at my watch, looked at the team, the match sleep, at the records, and I turned to look again at them, and I was like, wow, I just have got the biggest original ever after a shitty preparation. And like I was like, yeah, let's go. And I was super happy. My friends were super happy. But then we went to have a beer, and then I just looked at my watch, and I was like, wow, it's late. But yeah, it was super awesome getting into Top Cod. And then the next day for Top 32, I tried to sleep until the last moment possible to go into to go into the match like having the best sleep. Like the most sleep I could get. I got on time to the match. Like I played Aaron Brock, the guy who got top 4 with Dreadnought in top 32, and he was a super nice guy. He was super calm, super chill, and I'm actually really happy that he got to top 4. But going into the match, looking into his team sheet, like the event itself, like the organizer itself, published the top 32 team lists. So that was really amazing. I really liked that. But if the event had been closed team sheet, I would have been super angry. But yeah, preparing for this match, it was awkward because I usually handle the Trick Room lead and the Rain lead very differently. So I have to like figure out what they were bringing, and try to work around that and do like a mixed lead. But yeah, game 1. The 3 games he brought. He I think he even led Pelipper, Meowscarada both the 3 games, and in the back he had King Gambit plus Dreadnought. Maybe at some point he led with Dreadnought. I don't remember. But yeah, game 1 I played terribly. I did super awful. And in the end I had my Rotom at -2 because I had already clicked Overheat to get rid of, I think, the Terra Pelipper. and it was just like Dreadnought against Rotom, something like that. Maybe the situation was different, but I got a critical hit Thunderbolt onto the Dreadnought, and that was super important. And I just K'd it out and won game one from there. And I was like, sorry, man. And then game two, I hadn't figured out that like taking care of Gholdengo was gonna be a little hard for my opponent because I had Amoonguss and Rotom to like support it, and he couldn't like Terra appropriately. But whatever, like Rotom was super good into this match, and I think game two I just lost super easily because I didn't bring Gholdengo. I was bringing Garchomp instead because I figured that I could Tailwind and be faster than theirs and just deny their Tailwind and just play better, but I couldn't. And then game three, um, next to last turn, I had my Amoonguss, which was like somewhat low against their already Terra Grass Dreadnought and Pelipper. And I had full health Desumerill and Amoonguss, and I was like, okay, if he was playing super good, so I was like, okay, he's gonna predict that I'm gonna get Rotom in, and he's gonna liquidation that slot, so that way I can like uh Ice Spinner the Dreadnought. It had already hit life with life. It already had like 3 life orb hits, But there was rain and stuff, and I somewhat from the calcs that I did the night before, I knew if it was Terra Grass, my Ice Spinner was doing like 60% or something. So, and then I could kill it with Aqua Jet the next turn. So, I went for the Ice Spinner on the Dreadnought, but he predicted that I was not going to switch, and he Terra Blasted, and he just KO'd my Asumero. And he took care of the Amoonguss. And then there was no rain, there was no tailwind, and my Rotom was already at like super high HP, and I knew that Pelipper couldn't KO me with the Hydro Pump outside of rain. And the mind game came, so if I can, is their Dreadnought gonna protect or not? And if I could leave the Hydra Pump outside of rain. But I was at full HP, and their Pelipper was not hitting that much, so I think it was like a bulkier set. So and it also died to a -2 overheating one of the a -2 Thunderbolt in one of the prior games. So I knew if I could get the call correctly, I could win, right? Or I had a positive chance at winning.
Mm-hmm.
So I predicted the Dreadnought to not protect. I was just expecting him to like ensure the KO with both Liquidation and Hydro Pump. And so I went for the overheat against Dreadnought in game 3. Last turn, I missed. So I was never going to find out if I was going to be able to leave the Hydro Pump outside of rain or if they were going to even hit the Hydro Pump. So like I was just angry, and then I was like, okay, I shouldn't have won game 1. And my opponent definitely played way better than me. I made very safe plays. I don't think I played that good, to be honest, this top 32.
Mm-hmm.
I made very safe plays. I was not risking that much. And if I had risk just a little bit more, and I had figured out that Gholdengo was good in the matchup before game 3, I might have gone further into the tournament. But, well, no regrets. It is what it is,
Yeah.
And
And
yeah, that's my run.
yeah. And I mean, no shame in losing to Aaron. He got all the way to top 4, played some really incredible Pokemon the entire time, as did you, getting all the way to top 32. Notably, you were one of the 2 Murkrow in top cut, one of the few believers left, and one of the.
Yeah.
And I really think that the fact that you didn't, you used a team that kind of was still played to a lot of Murkrow's strengths without being one of the stock standard builds. You had a lot of innovation yourself. Really
Yeah.
allowed you to do so well, along with your stellar play, of course.
Thanks.
You did your own thing, and you kept within your comfort zone while still figuring out how to carve your team's niche in the metagame, and I think that is really powerful. So for those people who want to continue building around that Murkrow, Gholdengo, Garchomp core, I definitely think that you should take a really close look at what Alberto has done with this team, because it was really successful, and it is a really well built team. around this archetype.
Yeah, thank you so much. Also, I didn't have any single Pokemon because like Murkrow, Pengi was also using Murkrow, but he had a super weird team.
Mhm.
If you get a team report from him, I'm really looking forward to that because it looked like a really fun team. And then for Rotom Heat, James Evans was also running Rotom Heat, but he was using like the soft bar choice spec set because Will Wisp all the way. Like Will Wisp Rotom was super MVP and super clutch. And then for Sumeril, like Jonathan was also running as Sumeril. So yeah, no single Pokemon for me. But yeah, um, like I just felt comfortable. I think like fast Murkrow and fast Rotom were super clutch during the whole day. Garchomp was feeling very lackluster during practice, and it was actually decent into the matchups that I brought him in, except for top 32, obviously. And Rotom was awful during practice, and it was like the MVP, no contention. And Sumero was also fun to play. It did what it had to do. I was a little bit disappointed in the end, but it was also very useful. Like every single Pokemon was useful. I'm glad I brought this team. Um, Again, I'm sure I would have brought something differently if I had prepared better. But that's something I'm gonna leave for Orlando. Because just to close my rant, I met my friend Case. Uh, I don't remember his real life name, but he's from Chile, and he's living in Canada right now. And he came down to San Diego, and he was like, "Empoleon, you're gonna snowball." And I was like, "What's that?" And I did like to go to like every single international, and he was explaining, "No, the only tournaments left for the cut before Europe are like Orlando and Australia." And I think there are only 3 confirmed players going to Australia. I don't know if like Latin American players, like Latin
Mhm.
players. So and like it just comes down to if I earn points at Orlando, I have the travel award to Europe internationals, and I think that's pretty fun. Something I was definitely not expecting,
Yeah.
but that very much helps me to achieve one of this season goals I set for myself, which is to actually make day 2 at Worlds. I don't care if it's like getting the automatic day 2 or going in through day 1 because I want this season to count for me, right? I've already been at Worlds 4 times. The 4 times I did terrible, and I want to now that I have the time to play the game and the money to actually travel. Like my 15-year-old self, when I back then when I started to play VGC, he would be like, "Dude, take the opportunity, practice, take the most out of it," and that's what I'm gonna do. So, um, uh, I'm going to Orlando. I still have to plan the rest of the season depending on how Orlando goes. I definitely want to travel more, and yeah, also Orlando regionals, my birthday is a Friday before, so if any of you guys want to meet up for a beer, that would be amazing. Friday February 3rd, Orlando, let's have a beer, everyone.
Sounds good. I know. I actually have to check what time my flight gets in, but I'll try to be there for sure. But yeah, and it's awesome that you are one good event away from getting that trip to London. 6 months later than you might have wanted, but still, your trip to
Yeah.
London. And yeah, congratulations again on your really incredible performance at San Diego Regionals with a now I finally get to say this really unusual team, this very rarely seen team archetype. um, it was a really really impressive performance. And did you have any final words or shout outs that you wanted to give?
Just final words. I think that the thing I learned about mentality this weekend, is a valuable lesson to everyone, newer players, veteran players. Just be comfortable going into the game. Don't lose sight that this is just a game, even if there are a lot of things at stake, and we all take it very seriously most of the time. uh, I think you will have a better time, better results, and will feel very much better after the event. if you go in with the mentality that this is just a game, we're here to meet other players that share the same passion, and we're here to have fun, right? That's why I play, because I have fun, and I definitely had a lot of fun in San Diego. I cannot remember the last time I had this much fun at a Pokemon event, to be honest.
Yeah.
And shout outs to you, Adi. Congratulations, and also making top 32 with a very cool team. I'm looking forward to your team report.
Thank you.
And I want to thank my friend Abraham Morta, Abi. He also got points at San Diego, but he got top 64 points. He's been my playtesting partner since after 2019 Worlds, and I'm just glad to be his friend. You know, he's a really good player, and he's gonna have a breakout performance very, very, very soon. And well, all his help during testing and all his like insight and everything, just thank you, my friend. I love you. And yeah, just subscribe to CK49 on YouTube and Top Nation TV on Twitch, because their content is amazing and I've really been enjoying it. Like, I just want to have a fan moment right now, because you guys are doing something that should be done in BGC, that should have been done in BGC so long ago. Like, there's almost no analysis content in YouTube, and I don't want to be rude to any other content creators, but they're only lathering or doing meme stuff. And I think the analysis part of this game, like content-wise, is very abandoned. And what you guys are doing is super helpful for the community. I can definitely tell you that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we couldn't do it without players like you who are willing to come on and talk about your experiences, talk about your successful runs and how you built your teams, and really share that sort of insight with the wider community. And I'm glad that I can be the conduit and help people learn from players like you. So thank you again for coming on the channel. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. And so, yeah, those are all the questions that I have. Thank you all for watching. And until next time, I will see you all later.
Take care, everyone. See you in Orlando.